Okay, so in the evening kickoff in the FA Cup fourth round, Tottenham were playing Brighton at White Hart Lane. A very entertaining game as a neutral. Just pure spectacle. The energy levels by both sides, the pace of the game. If you are a fan of either side, you'll be happy and frustrated at the same time. Both sides too defensively open from a technical point of view. Both sides rode their luck. It just so happened that Tottenham had a bit more luck than Brighton, and on another night, with possibly better finishing and the luck going their way, Brighton win the game. It's finished 3-1 to Spurs. As I say, defensively, both sides really poor, and that's contributed to all four goals, quite honestly. The first goal for Harry Kane, I don't know what Brighton are doing. They were given a warning a little bit earlier in the previous phase of play, trying to play out from the back. And they do it again. Shambolic, really. There's times where I know Brighton play a certain style, but there are times to go route one, and there are times when you can play out from the back. When you've got a team that's really in your face with a high press and players with pace in their attacking third, sometimes don't play out from the back early on. You've got to play yourself into the game. I think both sides were guilty of this, quite frankly. Kane, brilliant finish. Take nothing away from the finish. But it's made easier by Brighton being sloppy in possession at the back and then not closing him down. They're leaving him open. And that's a brilliant finish from distance. Good curl on the ball. He is two-footed, predominantly right-footed, but he can score with his left. He chooses to curl it with his right. Sanchez, no hope in the Brighton goal for that one. And that set the tone for the game. Now, the second goal by Emerson Royal, or Solly Marsh, if you go by the own goal, it is a bit of a freak goal. How much intent does Emerson Royal have? Is that a cross? Is it a shot? Looking at his reaction and the way he's looking at the goal as soon as he lifts his head up, says to me that I think there was a bit of intent to at least try and catch the keeper off his line. And you could argue Sanchez is a bit far off his line, because you've got to assume, as a goalkeeper, the defender's trying to close down, there is going to be a deflection. What I found surprising with that cross is there's no Spurs player making a gut-busting run to get into the box. Harry Kane is well far back in the box. There's no Tottenham player running in to put pressure on the keeper. So you have to assume there's possibly a slight bit of intent, I think, from Emerson Royal. And looking at his celebration, I think there was intent behind that. But you could argue it is a cross that has taken a wicked deflection. That's wrong-footed the goalkeeper, whose positioning is a little bit suspect. If I'm honest, but the Tottenham players, they weren't busting a gut to get in there. So while they got luck with that second goal, there's a few question marks about the Tottenham desire to get in the box. Now, after that goal, Brighton are in possession. They were getting multiple players in the box when crosses being put in. They want to put pressure on the Tottenham defence. And that was Brighton's mindset throughout the game, was to constantly get players forward. Now, it has been their undoing in the second half as well. Bissouma, I think, was their outstanding player on the night, and you could argue could possibly be the man of the match, although Harry Kane is given that honour. But it's 2-0 at half-time. Brighton aren't out of this game by any stretch at this point, and Tottenham are still too open defensively, because sometimes they were good with the high press and good with the press with Brighton, and sometimes they sat off a little bit, and the intensity from Tottenham was up and down throughout the game. There were moments where they're brilliant on the press and the counter-attack, and there were moments where they're just sitting back. If you're going to go with that kind of press mentality, keep it up for the 90 minutes, because it will unsettle the opposition. Brighton, when they were on possession in spells, looked very, very good and very, very competent. The movement is good at times, and the willingness to get players forward is refreshing to see. Sometimes with slight underdog teams, there's a little bit of reluctance to go forward. Brighton, they play a certain style. Hasn't paid off tonight. On another night, with the open defensiveness and the mistakes that both sides made, it could have been a Brighton win 3-1. That's how honest my opinion is of this. I think Tottenham slightly edged it on the night with the quality. Basuma's goal after half-time, two slight deflections. It wrong-foots Lloris, but I think he deserves the goal. There is intent to get that on target. And he was Brighton's best player from midfield, driving the play. And for the first 20-odd so minutes of the second half, Brighton were on top, and Tottenham were guilty of sitting back too much, taking their foot off the pedal a little bit, allowing too much space for Brighton to dictate the play, not committing to the press as much. And Brighton are rightly awarded rewarded, rightly deserved, so I say, to get that goal. And then after that, the game completely opens up. Kane's second goal, that is a comedy of errors defensively from Brighton. Son creates the goal with his driving run, but then it's a comedy of errors, deflections all over the place. Kane just beats, I think, Webster, the defender, to get the ball over the line. I think it's going to go in anyway, regardless if Kane touches the ball or not. It would have been another own goal. But after that, the game was wide. It was so open. It was end to end. Defence was not a priority for either side at this point. So, as a neutral watching, if you're just watching as a neutral to be entertained, you are entertained. But if you're looking at a technical standpoint, which is how I break these match reviews down, it's something I think Tottenham need to work on is their openness in defence. Going forward, we know what Tottenham have quality-wise with the players they have. Defensively, too open. And they don't really have that defensive midfielder to break up the play and protect the back three or the back four or the back five, depending how they set up. Winks, he's a box-to-box midfielder. He's not a defensively minded midfielder. He's an energy guy. He will go box-to-box. He'll be part of the link-up play. He will drive forward. So there is that kind of openness with Spurs and a little bit of a softer underbelly with Spurs. And I think even Spurs fans will admit they are a little bit sometimes not gnarly enough in midfield. Brighton, again, too soft, I think, in midfield. The game was played in the right manner, in the right mindset. You're going to get fouls. You're going to get niggly little fouls. There wasn't actually that many bookings, to be honest. But both sides, admittedly, I think were a little bit naive. And admittedly, they did play in the right mindset, the right manner. There was a lot of respect shown to either side. There wasn't these dirty challenges going in that we've seen in other high intensity, high energy matches, which is refreshing as well. I think dirty play needs to be stamped out, but you still need a player to break up the play, put the hard but fair challenges in. I think both sides lack that a little bit, but the game was so open. And on another night, better finishing or slightly better quality, I think Brighton get the win. And there were moments as the game wore on that Tottenham were relying on the counter-attack, and then Brighton would counter-attack, and there was no real build-up play, I think. It was a very open, entertaining game. So if you are a Spurs fan, you'll be happy with the result. I think since Conte's taken over, the form has massively improved. But they are playing catch-up from where they were early in the season, and that's hard to do. But they have a very good chance in this competition with some big sides going out and some other big sides struggling to get over the line, with West Ham and Chelsea both having to go to extra time today. They have a very good chance, now they're out of Europe, to focus on this competition and have a run at this competition. Brighton, this was also their best chance of a trophy this season, and naivety at the back, overplaying, and being sloppy has cost them. But yeah, Tottenham, refreshing going forward. Even with a victory, though, there are some glaring weaknesses in this Spurs side, and as I say, defensively too open. Brighton can now focus on their league form. Tottenham, I think this can be a positive distraction, and they can really turn the draws into wins. And yeah, they've had some good wins under Conte. There's also been a lot of draws in there, and there have been defeats in other cup competitions. They've obviously bowed out of the League Cup, so this is their only chance of silverware. They've bowed out of Europe. Admittedly, COVID had an impact on that. And there's been a lot of movement in the transfer markets. There's been a lot of squad rotation and turnover. And a lot of their new signings made their debuts tonight and had a positive impact on the game. So hopefully these new signings bed in and they can play a little bit more structure. Now, the press worked well when they applied it. When they stopped applying it, Brighton were given too much freedom. So that's a concern if you're a Spurs fan going forward. Is if they've got to stick to a game plan, they've got to work with it if the plan works. Brighton, they don't have a top goal scorer. When I say top goal scorer, I mean a goal scorer who's going to be your top goal scorer. Mapai, he had a chance one-on-one with Lloris and he took the wrong option. If he scores that, we're discussing a different result, because there were moments where Brighton were on top and the pendulum of momentum swings both ways. But all in all, an absolutely thoroughly entertaining game. And yeah, another night the result's different because both sides rode their luck. It just so happened Tottenham had a little bit more luck than Brighton this evening. And there was some naivety in the play by both sides. And I think both sides far too open. But this is, I think, some positive criticism for both sides. I think Graham Potter's sides always play the same style. They play attractive football. They've just got to be a little bit more clued up at the back, a little bit more competent, a little bit more, not I wouldn't say conservative, but a little bit more decision making. I think something they've got to work on. Tottenham, good going forward, but defensively again, decision making and a little bit more structure. I don't think Conte will be happy with that defensive display. Going forward, I think he'd be very, very happy. And I think some of the changes when they came on, it shored him up a little bit. So, positives and negatives to both sides, but I think a thoroughly entertaining FA Cup tie. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Please place your thoughts below, and I'll have some more videos for you tomorrow because there's a lot of sport tomorrow. I've got to again cherry pick. Do I watch the Six Nations? Do I watch the FA Cup ties? Because there's multiple FA Cup ties on, and of course we've got the Africa Cup of Nations final taking place as well. So there's a lot for me to choose from, and I've got to cherry pick. I can't watch all at the same time. It's impossible with just one screen and with my limited setup. So I have to cherry pick, which is frustrating. I know because I missed out on Chelsea having to come from behind in extra time to win in the FA Cup, the Africa Cup of Nations third, fourth place playoff, which was apparently an entertaining, thrilling game as well. The Ireland-Wales Six Nations match, which Ireland, I caught the last 20 minutes, Ireland smashed Wales off the park, and they put down a marker for the tournament. So yeah, we'll have to see what sport I can watch tomorrow. But thank you very much for supporting the channel. Really appreciate it. And if you like what you see and the content you see, obviously put a subscribe in and hit the bell button as well. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I'll have some more content for you very, very soon.